We've just passed the roadblock. We're getting closer to stand and deliver. It is time, guys, for your NXT review for the 21st of March 2023. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. What a great time to be a wrestling fan. You've got NXT Stand and Deliver coming up. You've got WWE WrestleMania coming up. You've got AEW on every fucking night, 6 nights a week, 7 nights a week. Hell, if Tony Khan could invent an eighth day, I'm sure he would, and he'd put an extra AEW show on. The only problem is, guys, all wrestling absolutely sucks. So yeah, it's a shame that we've got all these shows and not one show is good. Like, what is the chances of that? All these wrestling shows, all your AEW shows, all your WWE shows, you've got your Impacts, you've got your this and you've got your that, and not one of them's good. Unbelievable. But anyway, I would say NXT is not that bad, but I still wouldn't say it's good. We kick off with Pretty Deadly, of course. They are the hosts for Stand and Deliver. They're in the ring. They said that they get to wipe the footage of Carmelo Hayes and NXT champion Braun Breaker from last week's show. They also get to wipe the footage of the Gallus boys cheating to beat them. And this brings out they kind of dissed the fashion style of Carmelo Hayes, so this brings out Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and then they just kind of like trade words with each other, some verbal trading. Pretty Deadly say that they speak the Queen's English and they don't understand what Trick and Carmelo Hayes are saying. And then Trick books a match. He makes a match for. I mean, I thought Shawn Michaels was the GM. Why can't Shawn Michaels come out and make matches? I mean, what is he? The guy is literally. I don't get it. Why can't we have Shawn Michaels as a GM slash authority figure on this show every week, week in, week out? Would it really be that hard? He's literally backstage behind the curtain sitting. So I don't see why we couldn't get Shawn Michaels week in, week out. Shawn Michaels being the man in charge. Shawn Michaels being the man making the matches. But we don't get that. Trick Williams says it's going to be Pretty Deadly versus Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. Carmelo Hayes ain't happy, but Trick Williams says, no, this is a good idea because you'll get to learn more about your stand and deliver opponent. I mean, if Carmelo Hayes doesn't know who Braun Breaker is and what Braun Breaker can do by now, then honestly, what chance has he got? We then get our first NXT Women's Title Ladder Match qualifier, INDI Hartwell versus Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton hits her fireman's carry, climbs up, hops onto the top rope, beautiful moonsault, gets the win over INDI Hartwell. I mean, the chance for fat indie wrestling, but let's be honest, indie wrestling fucking sucks. I don't mind INDI Hartwell, but yeah, indie wrestling, vanilla bums, that stuff absolutely sucks. If INDI Hartwell thinks that having fans chant indie wrestling is going to get her over long term, then honestly, she's doomed to fail because it's just a wee catchphrase, but that's something that you don't want to follow you. I mean, how can she honestly be going to like the WrestleMania and the fans are chanting indie wrestling, bingo hall wrestling? Doesn't make any sense. But Tiffany Stratton wins. For me, Tiffany Stratton must be the next NXT champion. Roxanne Perez, I don't understand why they gave her the belt. I don't think she was ready. Maybe they felt rushed into it because of the whole Mandy Rose thing, but I don't think Roxanne Perez should have been champion. You look at Tiffany Stratton, she's got everything they want, right? She's like one of the bigger women, like physically, she's like pretty big, but she also looks feminine. But you look at a lot of the women that WWE push, the bigger women, they all look masculine and butch. Now Tiffany Stratton's a pretty big chick, but she's fucking hot. She's beautiful. She's way hotter than the likes of Rhea Ripley or a Raquel Rodriguez or people like that. So for me, I think Tiffany Stratton must be the next NXT Women's Champion. I think she's the whole package, and she's actually really, really good in the ring. I mean, she pulls off this moonsault. She does it fantastic every time she does it, hits it to perfection. So yeah, Tiffany Stratton wins. She goes on to stand and deliver. And for me, Tiffany Stratton should be the next NXT Women's Champion. Then we see the Creed brothers, and they turn up at Gallus's pub. They start playing billiards, then they play darts, and it's obviously so fake here because none of them can throw darts, but the darts are going in the bullseye. So it's like they're throwing it, but it's showing you it going in the bull when you just know these guys couldn't hit it, man. The technique was horrible, but again, I mean, I don't really expect them to be great. I'm not going to criticise them for not being good at darts. They agree to have Gallas won at pool, the Creed Brothers won at darts, and they agreed to have a settler at Stand and Deliver. That was going to essentially be the third fall, but then Stacks and Tony D'Angelo come in, they buy rounds, they get everyone drunk, everyone's pissed, they drink all the beer, and then they're on about how the place is in a mess. The Gallas decide that it's going to be a triple threat match at Stand and Deliver. They speak about how they need to clean the place up. One of the Creed brothers asks Tony D'Angelo, "Don't you have a cleaner?" And like Tony D'Angelo laughs it off and go, "Yeah, we're in the cleaning business, but not that kind of cleaning." So I thought that was funny. Obviously, paying homage to like the whole gangster mafia style. They like to clean things up, aka make things and make people disappear. Then we got Gigi Dolan cutting a promo. She got interrupted by Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton was confused to why Dolan was confident about winning, because didn't she realise that she just qualified? And Tiffany had another Tiffany epiphany, and she says she's going to climb up the ladder and win. Toodles, and she walks off. So yeah, that was okay. Then we got Wes Lee. He basically had a open challenge. He says he's going to pick his opponents for the match at Stand and Deliver. He picks Dragon Lee. He picks 4 fucking bums. Let's move on. Honestly, I don't like this guy. I don't like Wes Lee. I feel sorry for what happened to him with his tag team partner and the fact they got screwed out the tag titles because of a lying crazy bitch. But still, I don't think the guy's North American Championship material. Where the hell's D-Jack? Put the belt on D-Jack. Honestly, he should be champ. But yeah, he picks 4 people to face in a ladder match at Stand and Deliver. Apparently, Shawn Michaels gave him permission to come out and pick 4 people. Again, I think it would have been better if Shawn Michaels actually came out and picked the 4 people. Then we got JD McDonough versus Ilya Dragunov. Just a match that I don't care for. 2 vanilla bums. I mean, that's what they are. 2 vanilla guys that just wrestle. And yeah, the crowd were chanting this is wrestling, but not for me. Not for me. Nobody won. It got broke up. It turned into a brawl with the people in this match. So, I mean, that was it. Then we got Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams backstage with Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker basically said he doesn't trust Trick Williams because he's always got a trick up his sleeve. Pun intended, aye. So, but yeah, Carmelo Hayes says, look, tonight is all about us just winning. And Braun Breaker says he wants to make sure Carmelo Hayes gets to Stand and Deliver intact because he wants to beat the best version of Carmelo Hayes. Then we get Wes Lee backstage. Axiom wants the spot. He wants to be the last man in it. Wes Lee says he can't just hand it out, even though he'd done it earlier with everyone else. And he says next week we're going to have a battle royal with the winner getting in the match, the last spot. Then we had Xavier Bernal come out. He pretended to be Johnny Gargano, and honestly, he was probably a better Johnny Gargano. Gargano comes out, beats him up. Gargano's not happy. He's furious. He wants to face Grayson Waller in a lights out match or something like that, or no sanction match. And then he says Waller pops up on the screen and says he'll sign the contract for next week if Gargano doesn't appear. So he wants Gargano to leave the contract, and if he doesn't show up next week in NXT, Grayson Waller will sign it. So, I mean, yeah, there you go. Gargano, I don't need to see Gargano. If Gargano beats Grayson Waller, then there's something seriously wrong in WWE. But they did show you like the replay of Gargano and Grayson Waller fighting outside Gargano's house, and then they showed you Candice LeRae coming out and checking on her husband, and she had her baby and stuff. And you know what? It was cool that they actually did something like that they had an attack at Gargano's house. Even if it wasn't Gargano's house, they pretended it was. I mean, it's nice to see them do things outside of the ring. It's nice to see them get outside the arena. But it's the fact that they wasted something like that on Johnny Gargano. I mean, surely there's a better feud in wrestling that could have used something like that, an attack at someone's house. It wasn't anywhere near as good as Triple H turning up at Orton's house, but you get my point. That rivalry kind of warranted Orton having Triple H attack him at his house because of what he'd done to Stephanie. Grayson Waller turning up at Johnny Gargano's house just didn't really make a lot of sense, in my opinion. Ivy Nile complained about Tatum Paxley jobbing her out. Then she took on Lyra Valkyrie in another NXT ladder match to qualify, and Lyra Valkyrie got the win. So yeah, whatever. Then we seen Isla Dawn and Alba Fire attack Fallon Henley backstage, but Kiana James made the save, and I guess they're trying to show you that there is unity between James and Henley, even though we know they're going to break up. What else did we get after this? Yeah, D-Jack walked by and he says he hasn't forgotten about Lee. Lee walks up to Daba Katu, and it's just basically a bunch of people that want to be in this battle royal. So I think it should be D-Jack. I think D-Jack should win. But I guess we'll see what happens. Then we got a great debate between the Schism and Chase U. Look, this wasn't good. Tyler Bate joined the Tyler Bate joined the debate. He's teamed up with Chase U, and then Duke put the University on the line against the Schism. So it's going to be the Schism versus Chase U at Stand and Deliver. And if the Schism win, they're in charge of the University. So yeah, I see what they were going for. Normally, I think the Chase University segments are funny, but this one didn't really do it for me. I'm just being honest. I didn't think it was that great. I mean, it wasn't horrible. I just didn't really enjoy it. Then we get our main event. We get Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker versus Pretty Deadly, and of course, Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes win. Braun and Hayes then stand tall as we go to the replay. Hayes hands the NXT belt to Braun Breaker. And that was pretty much it. Braun Breaker raises it in Hayes' face, and we go off the air with Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes doing like a face off, like a face down or whatever. Oh, look at me, I'm the champ, I'll face you in 2 weeks. Again, nothing great. It wasn't horrible, but it was just a lackluster finish. Nothing really happened. I mean, Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes won. We knew that was going to happen. I was expecting maybe Carmelo Hayes to turn on Breaker or Trick Williams to get involved. I thought maybe Trick Williams set this match up so he could lure Braun Breaker and maybe attack him from behind without Carmelo Hayes' permission. Maybe something would happen between Hayes and Trick Williams, but no, nothing happened. Breaker and Hayes won, and then they just looked at each other as NXT went after there. So yeah. Not great, guys. I'll give it a 3 out of 10. It was alright, but nothing special. So yeah, my rating, guys, is a 3 out of 10. Let us know what you thought down below. I will catch you in the next one. And of course, that is it. Yeah, lots of wrestling content coming to the channel. We've got WWE 2K23 stuff out, so go and check that out. And of course, WrestleMania Stand and Deliver is only a few weeks away. So yeah, make sure you subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. And of course, until then, peace.